My fro looking a whole types of crazy right now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly community oracle bowl. I am sorry I'm late. Your girl made a mistake, and I was like really pissed off on myself because I made a mistake like literally 15 minutes before the live. There's something that I was doing something, and I filled out the damn form wrong, so I had to redo it, and my Virgo energy creeped in hella quick, and I was like hella pissed on myself, so I had to cleanse my own energy because I was not in the mood. So yeah, I just threw on some cinnamon. No, actually, it was the love incense just to calm myself because I was not feeling good about that. That mistake was really stupid, and I know better, so I had to fix it. Anyway, I hope that you guys are doing well. Welcome to the weekly community oracle. We're going to be here for an hour, as always. So for those who are new here, this is specifically meant to be low cost readings. That's why we do them. So if you are a Patreon member or channel member, your reading is already included in your membership. So you can go ahead and drop your questions with the oracle deck that you would like me to choose from. I'm going to show you guys the options in a second. If you're not a Patreon member or channel member and you want me to pull some cards for you, you can go ahead and send $5 to $10 to my Cash App or Venmo, which is the same as my name. And just let me know in the comments which deck you want me to pull from and what is your question. These are your oracle card options for today. We have the Enchanted Map oracle deck, the Archangel Michael oracle deck, the Nature Speak oracle deck, the Moonology oracle deck. Okay, this one's new. I filmed a whole bunch of videos that I have not gotten a chance to post because I've been doing readings back to back. By the way, because your girl, by the way, had a video on TikTok go viral and everybody's like booking readings with me right now. So I've been working myself to the bone and I have not gotten a chance to edit and post those on YouTube, but y'all getting my videos, so stay tuned for that. Messages from the Mermaid. So this is gonna be an unboxing on YouTube. And also somebody actually bought this for me from my Amazon wish list, so thank you to that person because they didn't write a message on there, but it came in my Amazon order, and I was like, oh shit. And then the Oracle of the Mermaids oracle deck. And lastly, we have the Okana deck, but please only use this, only pick this deck if you're trying to use shadow work. I'm gonna just, as always, I'm gonna let you guys know, as I do every week, please only use that deck if you're trying to do shadow work. Okay, we already have some questions on YouTube, so we're gonna get started. Hey Lana, how are you, boo? Hey Giuliana, hi. I feel you on that as a Virgo rising. No, but for real, I the second, like, you see Capricorns, like I have Virgo in my third house, but Capricorns, when it comes to the earth signs energies, because we're all like cousins, like we're in the same familiar group with the earth signs, cardinal signs take from the other two earth signs. So Capricorns can be as stubborn as Taurus, and we can be as perfectionist as Virgo. So it hits me like when sometimes when I make mistakes that are literally like, I will literally sit there and be like, wait, you knew that you had to do this. And that's what I was telling myself. I was like, why did you press submit when you know you have to fill out the rest of the form? What is wrong with you? Now I'm going to have to call the lady and fix the whole thing. Like, that shit. Oh, man, mind that. Like, I get pissed at myself because I'm very, very, like, particular, but I get that from my Virgo side, which I get as a Capricorn. Because Capricorns, yeah, we work hard, but we are perfection. We can be worse than Virgo sometimes, so yeah. General reading, please. Any deck. Okay. Juliana said general reading, so we're gonna do that. But I hope that, everybody's been having like a great week. I know that we didn't do the weekly healing circle this week because y'all, before Juliana, before we get to you, because I guess I have to do a little quick update. My energy levels have been hella draining lately. I don't know if it's y'all too. I think it's the Jupiter in Pisces that's been making me hella sleepy, or just being very, like, my energy levels just fluctuating. Like, today I woke up, I was energized, boom, 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 let's go. But then literally the past since last week, my energy levels have been like, it's been a whole entire, it's been a roller coaster. It's been a straight up like roller coaster. And it's been hard to keep up with the flow of my energy levels. And on Monday, literally, I was just like, I'm so tired. I don't think I could do the weekly healing circle. Like, I literally fell asleep with Babe. She had like put a movie on. I like fell asleep like at 5. I took a nap, and then it was a whole thing. I was just like, yo, why am I so tired? Why am I so tired? Like, I just kept asking myself, like, why am I so tired? I think it's that Jupiter and Pisces. It's just affecting the flow of my energies right now. So I'm sorry I didn't do the weekly healing circle. But I have a ton of videos coming up for YouTube, so stay tuned for that. Because that's happening. You guys are getting a ton of videos. So definitely stay tuned for all that. Now, let's get to Giuliana. Which deck? I don't know why, but I'm feeling... Let's just break in. Let's start breaking in this deck, because I feel like the messages of a mermaid. First of all, the unboxing to this deck is amazing, and I'm going to recommend everybody gets it, because I really, really like this deck. It's just so beautiful. Y'all just gonna have to wait till that video comes out. And if you're following me on the Clock app, make sure you're following me on YouTube, because they get the majority of my content. I know that a lot of people, like recently, y'all that are on YouTube that are now on my TikTok, one of my videos went viral. The one I haven't uploaded on YouTube yet. I mean, I made a longer version of this months ago. You guys know it's a wedding date. How I picked my wedding date using astrology and numerology video that I already showed you guys how to do it. I decided to do it again for TikTok because somebody asked me, oh, you know, which date would you pick? Like, how would you pick your wedding date? So I decided to show again how I do it, which is literally how I do it. If you book a session with me, I would do the same thing. And it went viral. It has like over 300,000 views. And so everybody and their mother has just been like booking sessions with me and all the stuff. It's been really amazing, and thank you to everybody for all the love and support. But I've been getting so much like everybody wants me to do theirs or whatnot. It's been pretty intense. But yeah, so I've been like, TikTok has been like a hot mess. Every time I clock in, it's like oh, you got another 99 plus messages and all this stuff. I'm just like, okay. Anyway. So yeah, I've been like hella just doing readings, focusing on readings. I'm trying to wrap up on readings, so I'm getting more bookings. So yeah, your girl has been a little busy. That's it. Anyway, Giuliana, what does Giuliana need to know right now? What does Giuliana need to... Okay. What does Giuliana... All right. Okay, that was that was a lot. Okay, bottom of the deck is real like... Wow. Okay, bottom of the deck, I think you need to know this based on the cards that came out, is relaxation, patience, and gratitude. Relaxation, patience, and gratitude. Your cards in order. We have feelings. Look at this deck. Look at this card. Look at the colors. Can we just... That's a gorgeous ass card. Feelings. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Acceptance. Acceptance. Beautiful, like, watercolor deck. I just love this deck. And the future. And the future. Okay. So what's going on with Giuliana? First and foremost, I feel like you're definitely going through a lot of emotions. Let's just get this started right now. Pisces season is creeping up, and it's definitely around the corner. Especially with what's coming up within the next couple of weeks, you know, Jupiter still being in Pisces. When the sun moves into Pisces, the water energy is going to be a lot more intensified. So there's definitely going to be a little bit more of a flow of energies. But I feel like you're at a point right now where, even though the way that the chart looks is very air, it is very like earth, that essence of water is kind of really highlighting emotions, your emotional energy. There are certain things emotionally that you're going to have to accept, whether it is about how you truly feel, like just literally accepting how you feel about a situation, and honoring your feelings, like not necessarily compromising your feelings. Because when I tell you, there's moments where we actively choose to kind of like say, okay, you know what, I guess this is what it is. And you just kind of suppress or bottle down your feelings, and kind of you transmute the energy or the emotions elsewhere because you kind of solved it in your head somehow. this energy is very much like, no, you need to accept your feelings. You need to highlight your feelings. You need to honor your feelings. You need to not compromise on your feelings, because they're very, very like, it's very persistent. The way the energy is coming off is like very like, no, I know how I feel. Like yeah, we can try to understand the situation, but this is how I feel. It's like a very particular, this is how I feel energy. This is like what it is energy. This is like, it's not going to change. It's not going to shift. Like, this is how I feel. This is what it is. And so what you're going through right now is a state of processing your emotional energy. I feel like right now, you also should be going to therapy. There are certain things about the situation that you're going through that requires you to come at peace okay, to come at peace with the situation itself and how it transpired, but also kind of like needing that extra additional support in transmuting the emotional energy. So you need to accept how you feel. So if what you feel, they're having a whole party downstairs. If what you feel ends up being something that like it's going to cause you to do, like the second you're like, okay, no, this is how I really feel, if that's going to cause you to create action and in that, you know, maybe you're not going to compromise anymore. Maybe you're not going to give in to everybody's shit. Maybe you're not going to put in more effort than somebody else is putting in. Or maybe you're not just going to like continue to allow somebody to treat you or mistreat you in a certain way. You're just kind of like, no, this is how I feel. I've been feeling like this for a while and this is what it is. Like, what is shifting about it? It's kind of like there's a non-compromising. There's no compromise, especially when it comes to how you want to move forward. The future for you is very like almost kind of like you're still forming it, you're still making it, you're still kind of how do I explain it? You're still kind of putting all the pieces together. You're still building it, but it's kind of like you are also taking a little bit more control about what you want moving forward. It's kind of like, no, this is the way I feel. I've been kind of doing it your way for a while because I care or because I was putting in the effort, but now this is how I'm feeling. I don't want to do that anymore. I have to accept that one, this is not working for me. This is giving me half-ass energy back. This is not giving me the satisfaction that I need. Like, this is not hitting right. So I need to like, I'm going to express and I'm going to sit there until the energy changes. Like what the feelings that you're having need to be addressed, acknowledged, and something needs to be done about it. But you yourself need to accept that that is your truth. Period. That is your truth. It cannot be changed. Period. Once you yourself accept that internally, you'll be able to communicate that with everybody else. And then your future will start coming into shape based on what it is that you're feeling. I feel like you also should be working a lot with the Jupiter and Pisces transit that's happening because I feel like you are still kind of, there's like a creation. There's like a co-creation that you're going through right now. And it comes through with you working and sorting out your emotional energy and then figuring out what it is, how you want to move from there. Like, okay, I feel this. This is how I feel, Abby. Okay, so from how you're feeling right now, what does the future look like? Where does that lead you? What's that path? What is that road? You know what I mean? So it's like a layered thing. It's like once you accept your feelings, once you kind of honor your feelings, once you come to terms with how you feel, it starts to shape and form your future because then decisions have to be made based on how you feel. Okay. So this very, very, very it's very layered. It's absolutely, absolutely very layered. But I think that is a very like the way spirit is kind of tailoring it is kind of like, no, like even if you look at the bottom of the deck, like right now there's a point, and this is very much like Jupiter and Pisces energy because Pisces is the sign that ebbs and flows. So there is like, oh, relaxation, patience, gratitude. Like, what are you doing in between this time in order to set yourself up for this, for the future, for what's coming? There's a time for contemplation. There's a time for, to relax, to kind of sit with it, to flow with it, to see how you're feeling about it. There's a time to analyze how patient you have been, how much energy you have put into a situation. And then, coming to terms will also being grateful about what you have learned. Okay, do not forget we're still in Aquarius season. Aquarius is very much co-ruled by Saturn. And so there is that energy of like analyzing, okay, what's this long term? What was the lesson for me? What did I learn? How did I grow? How did me going through that get me to feeling this way now, where now I know I need to shift the energy and kind of move and transition differently? So it's a very layered message, but I feel like for you, you're still co-creating, and I feel like this specific month as well is very much still kind of putting together the vision for the year that you have for yourself. It's still all coming together in pieces, but you have to accept emotionally what is going on internally. You absolutely have to. If you're not okay or centered or grounded within your emotional energy, it's going to be a lot harder for you to kind of work with, you know, the opportunities and the doors that spirit's going to open for you, because there are certain things that you're going to have to like, you're going to have to accept it. It's going to be something that it's going to require you to be a little bit more prepared, like to be ready for the thing, if that makes sense. So yeah, so that is your message, my love. I hope that you got all the messages that you needed. And again, big welcome to everybody that is here. Can I still do a reading after this live? If you would like to book a reading with me, like outside of what we're doing right now, because it's the weekly oracle poll, so this is meant to be low cost readings. If you want to book a reading with me, like a full longer reading, the link to my website is in the link in my bio, so you can book it through there. And you know, you can get your reading there. So yes, I hope that made sense. So for those who just came through, let me just explain what we're doing. For those who are going to want a reading, this is the welcome to the weekly community oracle poll. This is meant to be to give you guys access to like low cost readings. So for those who are channel members and Patreon members, your reading is already included in your membership. So you can go ahead and drop in the comments what question it is that you want and which deck you want me to use. For those who are not, you guys can send $5 to $10 to my Venmo or Cash App, which is the same as my username. And these are the oracle decks that you have to pick. So you can pick an oracle deck and then put your question in the comments. So you can pick the Archangel Michael oracle deck, the Enchanted Map oracle deck, okay, the Nature Speak oracle deck, the Moonology oracle deck, the Messages from the Mermaids oracle deck, the Oracle of the Mermaids oracle deck, and the Okana oracle deck. But please only pick this if you're trying to do shadow work, because this deck will read you to the film. You got the warning. That was the warning for that deck. Okay, we have another reading from a channel member. Okay, in regards to my 7th relationship, is how to run away from any deck, please. Okay, hold on. I don't know why, but the Moonology is staring at me, so that's the one. That's the one that we're going to use for this question. Okay. Is it time to walk away from their 7th-year relationship? It's time to walk away from their 7-year relationship. Is it time to walk away from your 7-year? Okay, so this is beautiful. So there's definitely, wow, there's a kind of a lot of things going on. First and foremost, there's definitely, because the length of this relationship itself, the year amount, makes sense for the 2 cards that you got in the beginning. So the first card that you got is you and your loved ones are safe, which is the new moon in Cancer. And then you got your hard work is paying off, which is the new moon in Capricorn. Now, the thing about Cancer and Capricorn energies is that these 2 things are very paternal energies. So this combination, this combo astrologically is very familiar. Like, not familiar like when it comes to like things that are recognizable, but I mean like family, like in relation to family. It's something that feels, because there's like there's a comfortability when it comes to someone that you've known like that long. Being with someone for 7 years, it makes you feel like they are family, which is why when there is kind of like the energy of like, oh, but no, but there's so much time investment. Okay, right? That Capricorn energy. There's so much time investment into, building this, having this relationship, and maintaining the relationship, like maintaining the health of the relationship, maintaining the love, the emotional energy. Okay. It can feel very much like family. So it can make it a little harder to kind of disconnect when you feel like you have outgrown or you need to kind of progress out of it. The last card that you got was the full moon eclipse, which is conclusions are within reach. Okay. And what this tells me is that there's definitely a huge kind of breakdown that's happening within the relationship itself. It feels like all of the effort that you have put in um, into how you want your future to be, okay, is leading you into a different direction. While there, you have like an emotional like kind of tie to the time investment that you have placed in this, okay, because you have invested 7 years of your life, right? While you have invested a lot of things to it, and it's almost like, oh my god, I got love for you, because it's like, we've known each other for so long. It's like we go way back, right? um all of the work that you have been putting in, all of the intentions that you have set up for yourself, all of the things that you want to achieve, all of the things in the direction that you're trying to go in is not in alignment with this. It's not. Which is why you're kind of like getting pushed out of it. It's almost like a huge transition that's happening. But the answer truly lies in the last card. Conclusions are within reach. Not only do I feel like you are going to be going through a very deep kind of transit, but it definitely feels like an ending. It feels like it's definitely not going to be easy, because 7 years, and especially with the depending on the way that it kind of concludes, because that's a whole nother shebang. Um, and like if you decide to stay in that person's life to whatever capacity or whatnot, that can be, those layers, those levels are very complicated, but in your heart what it is that you want, where you're headed, what you're trying to do, and in your heart what needs to happen next. That's kind of the other thing with the conclusions are within reach. You know that you can actively cause the ending or the continuation to this. You know that if you continue this, what is it going to lead you to? Because ultimately, when it comes to this kind of relationship, are the feelings still there? Are you still growing together? Do you still want to continue your life together with this person? If you did, you would have never asked me that question. Okay. People who ask questions like this have already made up their minds. They just want to know if it's energetically supported. And ultimately, you're the one who concludes this. But just know that there's going to be a lot of emotions when it goes down. It's going to be a lot of emotional energy that you're going to have to kind of sort through, not only on your half, but on theirs. And so it feels like, one, you already got your mind made up. You just have to rip the band-aid. That's why it's eclipse energy. It's like, it feels very intense. And granted, we're like building up to this beautiful moon and Leo that's about to come through, so things can get a little bit like very emotionally fired up. But it feels like it's a very like dramatic first. It feels very dramatic, but it also feels like you have to kind of accept where you're going. You have to accept your path. You have to accept what it is that you want to do. You need to live your life for you. And this is also giving me a little bit of Aries energy. Okay. It's kind of like the energy of that Aries do, where like they rule the journey. So they're always on this road to on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. Whoever they meet along the way, they can walk with Aries up until they don't anymore. So Aries will keep walking straight on the road regardless of whatever it is happening in their lives. They'll just keep pushing, 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 pushing. And so there's this energy of kind of like, oh, you know what? I'm kind of in a different journey now. Like, I need to go in this direction. We're not going in the same direction. So I feel like we're going in two different directions. That's what it seems like. It's like ripping the band-aid of the truth of what it is, and accepting the reality of like the conclusion that is happening. Because it's either you conclude your emotional energy the way that you feel about leaving, or you separate. It can only go two ways, right? And it just feels like you're going into a different direction. It feels like you're going into the different direction. It feels like they'll be fine afterwards as well. They'll be able to overcome it. There'll just be a lot of emotional energy. But once you rip that Band-Aid and head into the direction you're going through, it's kind of like, okay, this is the end of a cycle that you've been like experiencing for a really, really, really long time. It's like very time investment, but it's definitely an end of a cycle here. It's just gonna be really emotional. That's really bottom of the deck is full moon in Aquarius, show the world the real you. And that's kind of really where it's coming from. If you're at the point where you have not been yourself, like you feel like you're going into a whole different journey, like this relationship has gotten stagnant and you're just not where you want to be and you just want to run in a different direction, then that's the real you. That's it. That's literally it. So yeah, I hope that you got all the messages you needed, my love. Before we continue, also a reminder, we're going to be on here for another 35 minutes. So if you would like to get a reading from me, wait, let me do the spiel again because I always have to do it again. Welcome to the weekly community oracle poll. This is where we like meet up once a week, and this is just meant to be for you guys to have access to low cost readings. If you do want a reading, like a longer term reading with me, my website will either be linked down below or for TikTok in the link in my bio if you want to book a reading with me. But for everybody else, for those who are Patreon members and channel members, you guys can put your question in the comments with the deck that you want to use, that you want me to pull from. And for everybody else, you can send $5 to $10 to my Cash App, which is the same as my username, with your question in the deck that you want me to use. These are your options. We have the Archangel Michael Oracle deck, the Enchanted Map Oracle deck, the Nature Speak Oracle deck. I almost forgot the name of it. The Moonology Oracle deck, the Messages from the Mermaids Oracle deck, and the Oracle of the Mermaids Oracle deck. You gotta be specific in the comments. And then the last option is the Okana Oracle deck. And this deck is strictly for shadow work. So if you're not trying to do shadow work, do not pick that deck because it will read you to the fill. To the financial bonsai who just paid, go ahead and put the deck that you want me to use and your question in the comments. I'm gonna read yours after I do Michaela. Hi, Michaela. How are you, boo? Let's see, Michaela. Any deck? Let's see which one. Yeah, the messages from the mermaids is calling me. So y'all know we intuitively pick decks if you want me to pick. If we're subscribed to you, what did you say about asking the question? So if you're on YouTube, if you're a channel member or a Patreon member on YouTube, then you can just put the question down if you're already, because it's included in the membership. But if you're not, just send $5 to $10 to my Cash App or Venmo. Okay, so I got you after I read Michaela. So let's see. General message from Michaela Hawkins. What does Michaela need to know right now? Ooh. Okay, Michaela said, I need to know a lot of things. Oh my God. Okay, this is beautiful. This is a really beautiful reading. Okay, so the first two cards that came up, you got Dreaming and Gratitude. Okay, Dreaming, Gratitude. Hope and Be Spontaneous. Okay, look at this deck. Isn't it so beautiful? So beautiful. And Abundance is your last card. Okay, so this is a very, very beautiful supportive reading. So first and foremost, I feel like right now, there's the energy of dreaming is very, very particular because again, y'all, Jupiter's in Pisces. It's literally the time to daydream. It is a time to daydream. It is a time to basically like be in that space where you're creating in your head, where you're like manifesting in your head, where you're allowing yourself to like just daydream a little bit. When you're doing prophetic dreaming work, where you're doing all that kind of energy, there is this energy of kind of being very flowy, going with the flow, dreaming, letting yourself dream, letting yourself think more openly, letting yourself like be open to the possibilities, be open for the shift, be open for the change. It's like very like it feels like you need to be a little bit more fluid, okay? Fluid. You're getting gratitude and hope, which tells me that there's definitely not only should you be in a space where you're grateful for what spirit has already like given you, okay, and where you're at spiritually, but you need to also focus your energies on maintaining your hope for the future. Definitely have gratitude to where you've gotten all the energy and strength and everything, how where your spirits have gotten you at this time. But you need to maintain your hope for the future. Because it's almost like the energy that is giving me is like you have a lot of dreams, you have a lot of goals, you have a lot of things that you want to accomplish. But at the same time, there's kind of, you need to have gratitude to where you have gotten, but you also need to not be like negative about things coming up in the future. And that includes if there are certain minor inconveniences that pop up or anything like that kind of shift your energy or put you in a position where you're just kind of like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know, but that, I don't know if that means something. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Like, you need to maintain your hope. You need to maintain your joy. You need to sit in a very great, like, in a gratitude. I feel like you also need to listen to the gratitude affirmations. You Are Creators has on YouTube, has my favorite like affirmations. He has like the best voice for affirmations, to be honest. It's just like amazing. So make sure that you're kind of maintaining, keeping in the flow of your gratitude, in the flow of like kind of just maintaining that routine, maintaining the flow of that routine. I feel like you need to uplift yourself mentally. Like if you have moments where you're just like, oh, I don't know, I'm like, you need to like uplift yourself. You need to like have a reaction to, you know, any minor inconveniences, anything that's kind of inconveniencing your energy emotionally, intuitively. You just kind of need to shift it. Kind of like, oh, you know what, I'm feeling a little low. Pop some incense, pop a window open, take a spiritual bath, just cleanse yourself. Drink, I don't know, drink some juice, like drink something that makes you feel good. Look at something specifically in your life that's bringing you a lot of joy, even though there might be something that brings a little bit of drama or something like that. First and foremost, we're human beings. Our lives, most of the time, it's like a telenovela. We need to have a little soap opera sometimes, you know, be kept alive. And while there are things that kind of like the be spontaneous, like things are popping off sometimes out of nowhere, you have the opportunity to attract luck in a way that's very like unexpected. And it requires you to kind of follow your intuition and be in a space of like, oh, you know what? I'm kind of in the mood for this. Let me just go do this. And then, I don't know, you find $100 on the floor. It feels very like you going with the flow, you allowing yourself to be spontaneous, you allowing yourself to care for yourself, to even self-care for yourself in different ways is going to attract you to more abundance. When you stay in a limited kind of mindset, when you don't, you know, you're not hopeful, when you're not kind of maintaining your hope, when you're not thinking or even thanking your spirits and your ancestors for all of the strength and everything that they've gotten you through, especially to the dreams that you have already accomplished. Because that's the other thing. There's a lot of things that you have already accomplished, and you need to sit down and remember the times where you were literally daydreaming about being where you are today. And even though you have new dreams today, you need to still have gratitude and be grateful for where you have gotten now. Because it's like you don't understand how much of the abundance have flown into your life and how much is still going to be flowing into your life. But you need to continue that energy. It needs to be like linear. Okay, it needs to be linear. It can't be like you're allowing it to get tainted, or you have ebbs and flows where you get in your own way mentally, and then you're like, oh, everything's going to shit. Like, I don't know what's going on with this, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you need to maintain this. You need to, especially with that, it's very Jupiter and Pisces. You're starting off with dreaming and abundance. It's literally Jupiter and Pisces. Dreaming, abundance is Jupiter, dreaming is Pisces. Like, it's giving me work with your Jupiter transits at this time. Work with your Pisces transits at this time as well. I feel like you need to maintain the vision that you have for your life. Make sure you're doing a lot of writing, scripting. Make sure that you are like paying attention to your dreams during this time as well, because I feel like your ancestors are also showing you not only insecurities but where you need to recognize. It's almost kind of like you need to like recognize, like, no, wait, I should be grateful. Like, shit, I should be grateful that this didn't happen to me. I should be grateful that I've gotten where I've gotten. And I know that I'll be taken care of in the future. That's really where it comes from. I know that I'll be taken care of in the future. So I know the choices that I make when I'm spontaneous, when I'm open, when I just let myself be myself, I know that it's going to lead me to the right direction anyway. So I'm going to be fine. Regardless of it, I'm going to be fine. And that's the way that I feel like you need to, like, the way your spirits are kind of the message itself, it's very, very like, no, stay dreaming. Don't be cynical. Don't doubt. Don't fall into a position where you're like not allowing yourself to look at all the beauty, all the opportunities, everything that you have received, just because things might be looking like certain shifting in a certain way. Like don't do that. Just move through the world like as if you have already been taken care of. It's as simple as that. Just you're already taken care of. You don't got to worry about anything. You're gonna get through it. You're gonna overcome. You're gonna do everything. You're gonna get exactly what it is that you want if you continue to dream it, if you continue to expand that energy. And you should be working with Jupiter and Pisces energy throughout the year, because that's going to help you continue to maintain that energy. It's kind of like the way we manifest this year has to 1000% be with staying in that dreamy scape, until Jupiter goes in Aries and it's a little bit more fiery. But while Jupiter's in Pisces, you have to ebb and flow. You have to daydream. You have to let yourself like dream and live and like do things like literally do things randomly, because Pisces is a movable sign. It goes with the flow. Go with your own flow. Intuitively, emotionally, go with your own flow and trust that you're going to be fine. That's your message, my love. I hope that it makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so next I'm going to do where it is. Wait. Okay, there we go. Moon deck. What's going to happen with my career? Okay. What's going to happen with their career? What's going to happen with their career? Oh, I can see. What's going to happen with their career? What's going to happen with their career? What's going to happen with their career? Okay, so, wow. Oh. Okay. So you got 3 cards. First and foremost, I feel like there's kind of a lot of tension going on. So the first card that you got is a full moon on Leo. Don't let pride get in the way. Okay. Then you have supermoon. Emotions are running high. Okay. And then you have the new moon in Scorpio. Work through your fears. Okay. Now, it feels like you have a lot of things going on right now when it comes to your career and your finances. I feel like there's definitely certain things that it feels like you brought them onto yourself, though, especially with the don't let pride get in your way. Like, what is it that you are specifically being prideful when it comes to your finances? Whether it be like a promotion, or whether it be like, you working towards a specific goal or something like that. Is there something that you're not willing to do that if you do, it actually opens up the door to something else? Like, what is it about the situation itself that is kind of holding you back? How is your ego holding you back financially? Actually, it feels very much like your ego, because Leo energy rules the ego. So it feels like your ego. There's certain parts of your ego, whether it be like, no, I told myself I would never work with that company, or no, I told myself that like I would only do this. It almost feels like you're blocking certain opportunities or certain things from coming in from your ego. Like, it's your pride. It's something that you're doing that's kind of contradictory. Like, I'm going to give you an example for this, and it has nothing to do with finances, but I'm going to give you an example for this because it's going to make sense. So one of the things, like, I have a Venus in Aquarius, okay? Now, one of the things that I always said was that I would never, ever, 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 ever use a dating app to meet anybody, because I like to meet people in person. I'm an in-person person, okay? I like to vibe. I like to pick up your energies, right? But the problem with that is my Venus is in Aquarius. So I was essentially blocking a part of my own love energy, because Aquarius rules technology and social media and, like, doing that specifically. So when I said literally throughout my whole life, I'm never using a dating app, it blocked that aspect of me meeting people in that way, right? And so what ended up happening? Was that for a whole entire year, I dedicated myself to healing my heart chakra specifically, because I had a lot of heart healing to do anyway. And then after that year passed, and I literally did all that work, I had specifically set an intention and I petitioned for my partner to come in. And when I say my partner, I mean the end game. I was like, Spirit, I'm tired. I don't want to freaking do this whole da-da-da-da. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that no more. So I had done a whole entire ritual for that. And then after, that's a whole nother story on its own. But after that, Spirit just kept telling me, oh, she's coming. Like, my partner's coming, right? And I had specifically asked for my partner. I was like, I'm not doing DMs. I don't want no people sliding into my DM. I just want to be my partner, period, right? And then I remember I had done that ritual at the end of October. For the next 3-ish months until like February, Spirit was just like, oh, she's coming. She's on his way, right? In February of the next year, beginning of February, I was like, oh, maybe I should try a dating app. Technically, it is part of my energy. Like, I was just talking myself into why I was blocking myself, like why I was doing this, why I was egotistically blocking myself from doing the dating app, even though by astrological reasoning, as a Venus in Aquarius, it makes sense to do dating apps because we rule technology. So we literally can find love in a futuristic way. That's part of that energy. So I was like, you know what? It is technically an aspect of my energy I've been blocking myself with. So you know what? Okay, let's try it out. And what I told myself was, I'll try it out. If I don't end up, liking it or whatever, I can say I tried it and it wasn't for me, right? That's what I told myself. I had done a ritual to Santa Muerte to clear up any like relationship blockages, because when I tell you, right when I was doing all of that, all of my exes were acting all funny, and I'm like, no, I don't want none of that. So I did a whole entire candle to Santa Muerte, and I was like, can you please clear up any of this and put it somewhere else because I don't want it. And then literally when that candle finished burning on the app, that's when I had met my fiance. And literally the way it happened is that she literally re-downloaded the app because she didn't have it. She like deleted it, deactivated it, and then she re-downloaded it. Within 15 minutes of her redoing it, I had swiped her, and then she swiped me back right away. And then we literally, like, that shit was like after that, right? So what exactly got in my way of that was this. It was my pride. It was my pride and my ego. Because as a Capricorn, I had set a standard for how I would meet people, but I was blocking an aspect of myself that obviously would have an open door into how I can connect with other people. And I knew I was doing it, but I was just too prideful about it. Okay, this is how I'm explaining this to you. What is it that you're being too prideful about that's getting actively in your way of you attaining what it is that you need to attain, of you getting where it is that you need to go? It almost seems like you need to come to terms with that, because I feel like it's not only about pride, it's that there's a lot of fear surrounding this. So maybe you think it's a risk. Maybe you think if you do it, it's just going to, maybe it's risky. Maybe you'll get fired. Maybe you'll end up losing money. Maybe you'll kind of you're poking the bear a little bit too much. It feels like there's a lot of emotions surrounding it. It feels like your ego is very triggered. It feels like, what you're dealing with right now requires you to not only put your pride aside and actually do what's right by you, like doing right by you, but you also need to listen to your emotional energy, because it feels like you also have a lot of anxiety where you don't need to have extra additional anxiety. Okay. It feels like a lot of anxiety. It feels like you have layers of, it feels like it's just, it feels very intense. It really does. It feels very intense. It feels like you're going through, it's almost like a panic. It's almost like but it's almost like if you don't get it the way that you think you want it, or the way that you want to get it, it's like, it's not going to feel good. It's not going to be satisfied. You're almost like you're not going to be satisfied or something like that. But it's like, it's your fears getting in your own way. You're definitely blocking yourself a lot financially right now with some of the choices that you're making. And it 1000% has to do with pride. So if this has to do with collaborating with someone else, or maybe you need to, like you actually like you don't like that person, something about that person, I don't know, like you got past beef or something, but that's the person that you got to work with now if you want to get to where you want to get to. It's kind of like you need to stop letting your pride get in your way. And it feels like you're scared that if you miss this opportunity that you're not going to get where you want to go. So it's a very conflicting internal battle that you're going through. It's very like, but at the end of the day, you need to rationalize it in a way that makes sense to you. And this is why I told you that story about like how I ended up meeting my fiance. Because you need to understand and figure out and come to terms with how you have been blocking yourself. Because ultimately, what happens next to your career is you're either going to manifest your fears. They're going to come into reality because you are actively blocking yourself, or you're going to break through the barriers that you have placed for yourself, and you're going to be like, okay, you know what? Let me sort through this shit. Let me really, because even like the bottom of the deck is expect powerful change and a win-win forecast. Like, I feel like you'll be fine at the end of it, but there's a lot of it just feels like a tension. There's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of like doubt, there's a lot of I don't know. Like, I feel like you need to pray. You also need to pray. I feel like you need to talk to spirit. You need to give some of these worries that you're having, like, talk to your ancestors, talk to your spirits, talk to talk to them. Like, hey, can you help me out? Can you help me gain the strength that I need? Can you help me let go of any fear? Can you help me like do what's best for me and not let my ego get in the way? Like, you need to like almost like, I feel like you need to vent. I feel like you need to vent, and I feel like you need to give it to spirit to actually help transmute that energy, because it's very intense. It's very intense. But be careful, because you have a really big opportunity of manifesting your fears, and then you're going to be pissed about it. You're going to be pissed about it. Why? Because Jupiter's in Pisces. Manifesting through emotion, this is not a good thing in this situation. Manifesting through emotion in this situation, when the ego is at play and then your fears are at play, you can literally manifest the worst happening, and then you're going to be pissed off that it happened. So what I recommend is just like